By virtue of the authority conferred on me as Vice-Chancellor, I constitute this Assembly a congregation of the University of Cape Town.
Please remain standing for the national anthem. Vice-Chancellor, I now request Letabo Monye, SRC member, to read the university dedication.
Good afternoon, all. It's a great honor to be given this privilege of reading the dedication. At this time of celebration, we, the members of the University of Cape Town, reaffirm our mission to nurture rational and creative thought and free inquiry, to strive for excellence in teaching and research, to educate for life and to address the challenges of our society. We undertake to advance these ideals in a spirit of freedom and responsibility and through consultation and debate. We celebrate those who have built the fabric and nourished the values of UCT. To those of you who will graduate today, we wish you courage, wisdom, and purpose. To all those who will leave the university to learn and work elsewhere, may you be sustained by the values in which unite us here today and advance them in the world beyond. A love of truth and of learning and of this, our university. Thank you.
Thank you, Letabo. You may be seated. We would now like to invite postgraduate opera singer Masabani Cecilia Rangwanasha to perform for us today.
Chariot, sooner in the morning, ride up in the chariot, sooner in the morning, ride up in the chariot, sooner in the morning, and I hope I'll join the band. Oh, Lord, have mercy on me. Oh, Lord, have mercy on me. chariot, sooner in the morning, right up in the chariot, sooner in the morning, right up in the chariot, sooner in the morning, and I hope I'll join the band. Oh, Lord, have mercy on me. Oh, Lord, have mercy on me. Oh, Lord, have mercy on me, and I hope I'll join the band. Gonna chatter with the angels sooner in the morning. Chatter with the angels sooner in the morning. Chatter with the angels sooner in the morning, and I hope I'll join the band. Oh, Lord, have mercy on me. Oh, Lord, have mercy on me. Oh, Lord, have mercy on me, and I hope I'll join the band. Lord, have mercy. Lord, have mercy. Lord, have mercy on me, and I hope I'll join the band. Right in the morning. Oh, Lord.
What a wonderful way to start the ceremony today. You can see why we are very proud of the students that come from the South African College of Music. It's certainly a jewel in the crown of the University of Cape Town, and the students are at the forefront of music making in South Africa and internationally. So performing today and thanking them, the procession was led by Sky Dladla and Black Roots Marimbas, and they are preparing for the Sounds of Mukwa tour to Mozambique in August. Sky graduated on Tuesday with an advanced diploma in African music. The national anthem was accompanied on the organ by Alexius Vikatis, and pianist Kevin Kim, who also graduated on Tuesday, accompanied Masabane, who sang the spiritual Ride Up in the Chariot. Masabane is a final year PG Dip student and has just returned from the Deborah Vucht International Voice Competition in America, where she won an encouragement award. She was also the winner of the ATKV Musicanto singing competition and the UNISA International singing competition. Masibane is a member of the Cape Town Opera Studio, and if you want to see her again, you can go hear her at her solo recital in June. Thank you very much. So once again, with the platform party now behind me, very welcome to you, the graduates, the parents, the family members, the loved ones, those who are not sure why they were invited, but they came along anyway. We are, of course, very proud to graduate today another cohort of medical health professionals. We believe that they will go out into the world and make us proud. And of course, this is, as I mentioned earlier today, a day of celebration, and we'll start off that celebration.
Fula la sela feli lang ewa liqheqesile la tutuma la banega la hlula yani mvula yanela nawe abiso magama labizwe nelakho wangumpumelelo nonompumelelo yiwuthentsikelelo molo nawe nontsikelelo ifikile kaloku lo mini bikathixelwa kudibenisiswe nentlanga sizovuya sivuyisana ewe kuthi mandigide ndingqungqe ndombele xa ndibona abazali nabaxhasi nemfundo yabo sula nezonyembezi zekhala kaloku nilile zovuyo ngoba le mbizi ibikade idutyelwe ivuthiwe madoda yithi themba mqala uzawuginya steki isiphazolo kuvela nologqibela hayi makwethu nasincuba chopho nina ninxibisa imbatho ezimbetshembetshe nezimabalabala nanxibisa nezizwe madoda nina nimabela abhonxileyo apho zonke ezinsana zincela khona ningumthombo mpompoza amanzi olwazi phambili ngemfundo phambili ngemfundo phambili ndiwagawulendi warhuqa madoda ephuma kagabuci washo umntu omlapha uthithiba umsuthu umjoba uthikoloshe esithi ndiliyakayaka ndinjenjenje kumam ndiliyakayaka andiva hey bon ndiliyakayaka umama ndiliyakayaka ndinjenjenje ndiliyakayaka mama ndiliyakayaka ndiliyakayaka halala yeah.
That was UCT Music Education graduate Neliswa Sampi Mchunyawa, professionally known as Sange. She's finishing her honors in education, and she honored us with her praises today as an Imbongi, who is a composer and an orator of poems of praise. They offer critical commentary and narrative on the state of society through their Isibongo. Sange Simbongo was in honor of the graduates, their families, and teachers. Thank you again.
Vice-Chancellor, the President of Convocation Medal honors a past student who has made a distinguished community contribution. Vice-Chancellor, I have the honor to present the award of the President of Convocation Medal for 2017 to Dr. Sophia Kisting-Cairncross, Executive Director of the National Institute for Occupational Health in South Africa. Dr. Kisting-Cairncross has been an occupational medicine specialist with extensive workplace experience in occupational and environmental health and safety, as well as preventive, promotive, and compensation health services. She has worked on the continent of Africa, 7 years in the United Nations at the International Labour Organization in Geneva, and has worked on the project on ILL's global program on HIV and AIDS and the world of work. At the same time, she also worked on the ILO and UN AIDS global coordinator for HIV AIDS in workplaces. She has been able to contribute to the development of a human rights protective international labor standard on HIV AIDS, which is now used in many countries around the world to protect the human rights of workers living with HIV AIDS. She had the significant opportunity to present the central human rights protective clauses of this labor standard, the ILO Recommendation 200 on HIV and AIDS and the world of work, to the United Nations General Assembly high-level meeting in 2011. Dr. Cairncross has particular interests in working with government departments, employers, and workers to address the concerns of workers with disability and workers who are vulnerable, finding positive solutions for workplace gender concerns, support the outcomes of the ILO Domestic Workers Convention ratified in 2012 by South Africa, the fundamental need to support greater income equity, addressing social justice concerns, including prevention and compensation for work-related HIV and TB matters. In 2003, the Journal of Epidemiology and Community Health in the United States of America recognized her as one of 10 influential women in occupational health and safety internationally.
Dr. Kisting-Cairncross, we now invite you to address the congregation.
The Vice-Chancellor, the President of the Convocation, my fellow colleagues all dressed in the gowns here, and above all, the beautiful young faces I've noticed in front of me and see now of those who are graduating today. Makes me a little bit kind of sad, and remembering that many decades ago, my generation stood here in a similar manner, and our parents at the time, like parents here today, came to celebrate what must be one of the most significant events in our lives, the day we graduate, isn't it? So I really want to choose the little time I have to say a few words by and large to the young graduates. And who knows, maybe my life's lessons can help you along your way to find it within yourself, to make that very important contribution to public health in the truest sense of the word that we need so very much within our country. I very much wish to acknowledge my brother and sister who's here with me today, who grew up with me in rural Namibia, where we come from a very long lineage of healers in the African traditional sense of the word. And in our own way, we have tried to take forward that traditional way of practicing healing and to make an impact in the lives of our people, not just in Namibia, in South Africa, but in Southern Africa. Also, our children, Emile, who came all the way from Amsterdam, our daughters, Lenore from Johannesburg, and Lydia, who, like you, is based here at the University of Cape Town. Then, of course, my life partner, Professor Eugene Cairncross, and my husband for 45 years. So it's one of the examples I try to say, I wish all of us can emulate, try and stick to that partner, especially if he happens to be your soulmate. I grew up in Namibia, distant rural desert landscapes, but I learned about human rights at mother's knee because South Africa occupied Namibia with the support, of course, of the United Nations. It was the way the spoils of war were handed out. But my mother always made a contribution of what at that time was half a crown towards the different telegrams that got sent to the United Nations in New York so that we can protest being under an apartheid regime. And so when I myself started working for the United Nations and I ended up there in New York at the UN headquarters, one of the first things I wanted to see was where do they keep those telegrams? Where did they arrive? And where have they been archived? And truly they were archived. And they tell a story entirely on its own, which I hope one of the sons and daughters of Southern Africa will take up. So, knowing about human rights and the importance of the protection of human rights with the Universal Declaration of Human Rights that came back in 1948, In my life, that aspect has always been important. It's one of the things that I want to share with you today. That so often we think that human rights doesn't have anything to do with ourselves every day. But I can tell you, in my life, the support for the daily protection and the respect of the individual human rights, everyone we come across, is of paramount importance. So often in the Southern African context, we think it's okay to look at the collective human rights. But we can only have the kind of problems that we are having because we do not respect individual human rights enough. So embrace it. It's absolutely beautiful to find a way to protect not only your own, but the human rights of each and every one that you come across. I want to try and leave you with that message. It has been important throughout my working life, and it stood me in good stead in many, many different ways. Very recently, there's a report by the World Bank that said this beautiful South Africa, this beautiful country in which you are graduating today, that it is the country with the biggest level of inequality in the world. I'm sure many of you have seen the report. It's shocking when you see it. How is it possible that this country and all of us, wherever we come from and whatever background we have contributed so much, and we end up 25 years into our democracy, and we are the most unequal country as far as socioeconomic outcomes are concerned. How is it possible? It's utterly shocking. And I cannot but step back and say, is it that my generation and those around us could have done more to find a way that there's greater equality and greater equity in our country? And so, young people, it is possible to do something about inequality. How can we, as young graduates going out into that world of work now, can find ways to ensure that in every decision that we make, we find a way to reduce that inequality? It's not going to come from governments. It has to come from us as the citizens of the countries in which we live. We have to hold ourselves accountable to that. And unless we find a way to reduce the inequality, we will always be plagued by uncertainty. We will always be plagued by problems. We may even be plagued by violence, because the desperation that comes from having to exist in less than $2 a day or $1 a day is a very, very big challenge. So it is our Achilles heel. It is something we have to find a way to address. And each and every one of us in our own little ways can do a lot about it. So the issue of inequality, don't make it as if it doesn't exist, because it will affect our children, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren, unless we find a way to address it in little ways every day. We came through a very heroic struggle against racial oppression. And I want to tell you that my starting here at UCT as a young medical student, barely 18, was often filled with the painful experience of what institutional and that time legal apartheid did to people, women and men like myself. It is painful to think what we have gone through. But I've always said, and I want to leave this with you, that that should never define us. The fact that we have gone through such difficulties must only give us the courage to make sure that we want to address it, not avoid it, not make as if there are not racial tensions or racial problems or racial discrimination in our country still, because it is there. In my 5th year as a medical student, myself and another colleague, we decided that we were absolutely, completely saturated with having to struggle to do the medical examinations only to patients on the black side of Groote Schuur. And we decided that we will go on that particular day to the white side of Groote Schuur. Now, I'm sure most of you wouldn't know that Grootskeur had a black and a white side. Did you know that? You did? Yes, you didn't know. Well, I can tell you we lived that reality. That the postmortems that we attended, 99% of the time, were of mostly black men. So for those of us who were on the black side of things, it was very, very hard. So on this day, we went there. And so we got called over, and to this day, we are cringing youngsters, 5th year, and we were told that we run the risk of being expelled from UCT because we dare to come to a ward round on the white side of Grootskeur. We dare to do that. And they said that we are making and jeopardizing the opportunity for other students of color to attend this university if we insist on continuing that. So you see, I'm just mentioning this one thing, how much has changed for the better, but how much still remains to change. Because we don't always have the courage to talk about the problems. They're uncomfortable. We need to talk about them, not because we want to apportion blame, but because they affect our futures. They affect how we're going to bring up our sons and daughters. We want to live mentally and physically in a world that's free from the impediments of a past that all of us cannot but be ashamed of. But I want to raise with you a problem today, young graduates, and your teachers, and those who have brought you here, and your parents. At our universities, at this wonderful place where I have experienced a lot of pain, and where I have experienced the support of some wonderful men and women who helped to shape me into who I am today, because they were there as teachers, as supporters. There were those who always used to find problems with us, but there are those, I must and wish to admit, who also helped us along the way. So it's important. But what we are doing, we who've been in the crucible of the Verwoerdian classifications of apartheid, many of you here lived that reality in a much deeper way than I certainly have done. But we who came out of that, we subscribe to it today in a way that is most telling. The very reason for the existence of a university is about knowledge. It's about information. It's about innovation. It's about the joie de vivre, that joy of life. Because when we are young, we so often worship at the altar of the human intellect. And we are hungry for knowledge and information. And that's what our universities can do for us. And they do it for us. And we celebrate the opportunity to really, really soar and to exercise that intellectual freedom and so on and so forth. But in our research, on a daily basis, we use the same Verwoerdian classification that have bedeviled the life of so many of us in South Africa and beyond. Certainly in Namibia, it was perfected. So when we do our research, we classify, when we do it on people as medicine, according to the colors and the different race groups that Verwoerd brought out, isn't it? Now, how can we look for a solution in the dictates of Verwoerdian apartheid classification? The branch of medicine I specialize in relates to the health of working people, and I've seen thousands upon thousands of mine workers sick from silicosis, from asbestosis, and other mine-related diseases, as if the lungs of the miners is a map of the lives that they've lived in our mines, and very often it is exactly that. Now, within that branch of work, you find people, mine workers, black mine workers, who have maybe spent 30 years underground. And so often in our research report that you find, it's not because they are, for 30 years down there, exposed to silica dust that they get silicosis that predisposes them to TB. So the reason that they have silicosis and TB, it's not because they work in the mine, it's because they are black. You see how it distorts our way of thinking? Instead of saying, we need to prevent the exposure to the silica dust, we say, okay, so many black mine workers have silicosis, etc., etc., etc. So I'm trying to tell you, looking for solutions within the Verwoerdian classification is very, very wrong. I need to say this because it's one of the lessons that I've learned. The years I spent in the United Nations, I used to cringe with shame each time I see one of the reports from South Africa, especially on TB and HIV. And so often, 90+% of those who would suffer from TB and were described, or from HIV, would be according to the Verwoerdian classifications. There is something wrong with that picture. It's unscientific. We need to move away from it. We need to challenge it. I know the government thinks that we are redressing the outcomes of apartheid by sticking to this classification. On the contrary, we are using our brightest minds in our countries to perpetuate racial classification and apartheid classification. I want to leave you with that. You don't have to believe me, but please have an open mind. It's one of the most important things that the university can instill in us, is to have an open mind. There is something wrong, and we should question it, that we have perpetuated that classification. I'm nearly done. Yeah. So I've told you, and I want you to know this, young people, occupational medicine, it's the most beautiful branch of medicine, but I'm sure it's the one that you were taught the least about. Who taught you that that cancer is caused by that work exposure to a chemical? Who told you that that leukemia, very likely to benzene from standing next to that petrol pump? Who told you that that brain cancer could have been because of an exposure of a cocktail of chemicals that the worker have been exposed to? Who told you that that skin lesion, very, very likely from kind of allergy, from whether it be rubber or whatever else that construction worker was exposed to? Who told you that the 12-hour shifts that all the nurses in this country work in the public and in the private sector can make them so exhausted that they can't possibly protect their own health? So you wouldn't have heard enough because it's not accorded the right kind of emphasis. And I hope with the energy that I have left for the rest of my working life, that I can focus on this kind of thing. Because in occupational medicine, primarily, you prevent. You prevent the diseases by planning for it, by controlling the exposures. And workplaces are beautiful places to intervene, and we can do so much more. So I hope that some of you will find a way to specialize in occupational medicine. It really is the most beautiful branch of medicine when you get into it. Currently, I run our National Institute for Occupational Health. You are welcome to contact us and to see the kind of research we do and to see how we do it with workplaces in the private sector, in the public sector, to have greater prevention. And one of the things I was asked to tell you today is that the National Health Laboratory Service, of which I am a part as the National Institute for Occupational Health, that you can now do your community service through those laboratories. So it's another opportunity for community service. And I hope you will make use of that. Because NHLS, in spite of all the challenges it faces, it provides a laboratory service to 80% of the people of this country. So I want to leave you with that. I want just to talk about accountability and about gender. And in talking about gender, I want to mention 4 women. We don't hold our decision makers accountable. Am I wrong? Do we hold them accountable? Sometimes, yes, sometimes. But we need to be more outspoken about the truth. We need to find more ways to speak the truth to power, and we need to support those who are speaking the truth to power. I know of incidents of sexual harassment in our hospitals, and that person stands alone instead of everyone else gathering around and say, we will not tolerate it. It happens in our academic institutions as well. Not just, it is easy to exploit power, but so often the victims stand alone. So we need to find a way to continue to support the truth and to hold those who are meant to serve us. Leaders are meant to serve us. They are not meant to dictate to us. They are meant to serve us. So we need to hold them accountable. And we must get away from the notion, young people, that we are now in these new institutions and so on, where we just have to say what everyone is telling us we should be doing. We should encourage a culture of engagement, of discussion, of making the workplace culture much more accommodating and much more democratic. It can be done. It happens in some places, but we don't support each other enough to hold each other and to hold our decision makers and our leaders accountable. They are servants of us, not the other way around. The 4 women I want to refer to today, it's impossible not to remember Winnie Madikizela Mandela, and it is sad that she has passed on. And at 6 o'clock tonight, I'm sure you know that there's a memorial service at St. George's Cathedral for her. So I hope that some of you can get there, because it is important for us to share in the sadness, but also to celebrate a life that I think has not always been given the kind of accolades that she deserved for what she's gone through. The second person I want to remember today is a very dear friend who passed away last week. Like myself, she specialized in occupational health and safety. She's Pfizer Omar Desai. We worked together in the Kobeka Trust. She was our occupational nurse coordinator, and the Kobeka Trust, you can see from what Lorna had to say about in the citation, it is when we took some of the mining companies to court, the mine workers did, and through our expertise and our reading of x-rays, we supported that claim to demonstrate that they were made sick from work. And Pfizer Omar Desai worked with us within not just the Kobeka Trust, but also the Asbestos Relief Trust. And if you Google it, you will see how much money have gone to mine workers or their families if they have passed on because of these trusts that have been established. So I want to remember Pfizer Omar Desai, a brave, brave woman whose life was cut short very, very young. The third person I wish to remember is Mrs. Rahmat Jaffer. And I wish to remember her, and she would have been here today, but she had to go to the Winnie Mandela celebration. She's 91 years old. And when I came as a youngster from Namibia, she took me into her home, and it became a second home. And up till today, I feel like a daughter within her home. So I want to celebrate her and say thank you to Mrs. Rahma Jaffer for what she's meant to us all in the nation and what she's continuing to do, like attending at the age of 91. She still drives, and she's going to attend there that memorial service for Winnie Madikizela Mandela. The last person I want to remember, and I want to share with you, the young graduates, is a friend that I met in 1976. She was a domestic worker, and myself and my good friend, Julie Jaffer, we used to teach first aid classes to the domestic workers. Because 76, there was a lot of blood. There was a lot of lives lost because we couldn't stop the blood before we got to the hospitals. And so I met a woman who had a Standard 8 certificate, and under Section 10, she was prosecuted very often for working in the Cape Town area as a domestic worker, but like many others, Nomkondiso Mdingi, she found a way to continue to work, and she found a way to put her children through university with her domestic workers' wages. Nomkondiso Mdingi passed away in February this year. Myself and my husband went with many, many others and many taxis here from the townships in Cape Town to bury her in deep rural Eastern Cape, in the village of her family. And on that day, those of us who were there, we pledged that in her name, we will start a bursary, the Nomkondiso Mdingi bursary for mine workers, for the children of mine workers. So we have started that, we have found contributions, and we are just in the process to ensure that the first group of the children of mine workers will enroll at several of our schools of public health next year to start their training in occupational health and safety. So I want to leave you with a memory of Nomkondiso Mdingi, one of the many, many unsung heroines of our struggle, the people we don't know about. She buried her son, who was only 19, who died after he was imprisoned, sustained a head injury, and it could never be proven beyond any doubt that he died from maybe a subdural and so on, because in those days of 76, 77, things were very difficult. She buried her daughter who suffered from HIV, and she wanted everyone to know what happened to her daughter so that we can talk openly about it and perhaps save her life. So I leave you with the memory of Nomkondiso Mdingi, and think that any one of you could apply to be supported with this bursary to do some further studies in occupational health and safety. I thank you very much, and I wish you all that is beautiful in your lives. Thank you.
Dr. Kisting-Cairncross, we are proud to claim you as an alumna of this institution. Thank you for dedicating a lifetime to the work of social justice in health. I also want to acknowledge, as an environmental lawyer, the work that you have done in asbestos, working with government, and also more recently, the case that you referred to, the silicosis case, which was, as you said, successful as a result of the work that were done by yourself and others in the area of occupational health. Thank you very much also for inspiring our graduates and reminding them that human rights is part of the everyday life, and reminding them that in their personal interactions and in their scientific interactions, they should always have equity, whether it's race or gender, foremost in their minds. So thank you again for inspiring us today. I would now like to call on Professor Majosi to lead us in the pledge.
The practice of a health profession carries with it a duty to humanity. Vice-Chancellor, I have the honor to invite all those graduating in the Faculty of Health Sciences today and all health professionals present in the congregation to stand and to join me in making the Health Sciences Declaration. I solemnly pledge to serve humanity. My most important considerations will be the health of patients and the health of their communities. I will not permit considerations of age, gender, race, religion, ethnic origin, sexual orientation, disease, disability, or any other factor to adversely affect the care I give to patients. I will uphold human rights and civil liberties to advance health and even under threat. I will engage patients and colleagues as partners in healthcare. I will practice my profession with conscience and dignity. I will respect the confidentiality of patients, present or past, living or deceased. I will value research, and I will be guided in its conduct by the highest ethical standards. I commit myself to lifelong learning. I make these promises solemnly, freely, and upon my honor. Thank you. You may sit down.
We now move to the conferment of the degrees, and I request the Vice-Chancellor to do so.
By virtue of the authority conferred upon me, I admit to the degrees specified and grant the diplomas and certificates specified to the candidates recorded as graduating in absentia. I shall now grant the diplomas and certificates and admit to the degrees specified the candidates who will be presented to me by the Dean.
Vice-Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you for the postgraduate diploma in addictions care, Shamila Adams. For the postgraduate diploma in child critical care nursing, Wanda Bagada. Motsubi Melita Kalane. Teliwe Zipezintle Precious Kuzwayo. Sipokazi Sweetness Makana. Nombulelo Nompumelelo Ngubane. Beatrice Kona Koneni Shikongo. Tabita Nongeba Siko. Noluvuyo Yvonne Somlota. Kanyisa Geda. For the postgraduate diploma in child nursing, Annelyn Jabes. Teresa Diane Benalin Jacobs. Megan Melicia McDonald. Ngomeka Abigail Ndlazilwana. Lungile Zamafunza Pel Ngobo. Pearl Ruth Richards. Nolutando Zibi. For the postgraduate diploma in community and general pediatrics, Spamandla Griffiths Zulu. For the postgraduate diploma in community eye health, Katlejo Pel Mbulawa. For the postgraduate diploma in disability studies, Chantal Joy Brinkman. For the postgraduate diploma in disability studies, Mohammad Rida Desai. Loiso Mapuma. Just a moment. Okay. Okay. Good. Right, sure. Loiso Mapuma. Kashifa Matthews. For the postgraduate diploma in disability studies with distinction, Karen Louise Mostert. Shabnim Parker. Azwidohi Emilia Chivase. For the postgraduate diploma in health economics, Nonkululeko Nosipo Guahu. With distinction, Jonathan Frederick Olatunji Macaulay. Hassane Jameson Malimela. Ramokone Mapoto. Sipiwe Sanele Masondo. Linda Butini. Emily Hope Lebohang Mche. Lesejo Ngateko Powe. Musluri Alvina Ricozzo. With distinction, Gilbert Chimangadzo Chitaudzi. For the postgraduate diploma in health professional education, Philip Bulalina Dambisa. Ndanganeni Mandiwana. Andiswa Magdalene Powe. Nastasia Ethel Timothy. For the postgraduate diploma in healthcare technology management, Sabrin Fritz. With distinction, Jean Matthijs Hatting. Francoline Rosemary Jammer. Bongile Kende. Mkokeleli Xolisa Manengela. Nombulelo Mdingi. And Kumeleni Emmanuel Mukwevo. For the postgraduate diploma in interdisciplinary pain management, Trusha Chetty. Farana Ibrahim. Naila Idris. Jonathan Joshua. Katleho Maxwell Dimakato. With distinction, Murray Luke MacDonald. Sugantha Moodley. With distinction, Susanna Magdalena Olofse. For the postgraduate diploma in nephrology nursing, Shanaz Abrahams. Masutane Florence Maboya. Preeti Sibusisiwe Madlala. Simon Molepane Marsha. Annery Miller. Rose Tandy Mukwena. Duduzile Elizabeth Msane. Alfred Matule Nchabelenge. Joel Nontokozo Ndaka. Trevor Zakes Kwabe. Ketukutula Duncan Sibisi. For the postgraduate diploma in palliative medicine, Mamtaz Abbas. Menaz Banu Akbar Ali. Bibi Aisha Baba. Randall Garrett Cochran Woods Brown. Petra Berger, over there. your team. For the postgraduate diploma in palliative medicine, Radha Govender. With distinction, Samantha Govender. Lawrence Tatenda Mandikiana. Coley Marks. With distinction, Tracy Lynn Rollins. Mitchell Robert Scott. Jean Stopforth. Keleto Karen Tebe. Yes. With distinction, Melissa Williams Platt. For the postgraduate diploma in pesticide risk management, Sydney Kensani Novella. For the postgraduate diploma in TB HIV management, Didega Licha Kekezwa. Neo Afias Lechare. For the degree of Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of Surgery, Yamkela Fikeni. Annelisa Mtati. Monghohi Wanghoha Takati. For the degree of Bachelor of Medical Sciences Honors in Applied Anatomy, First Class, Tahira Asmal. With First Class, Lauren Brogan Bruce. Krishna Els. Karin Johanna Raj. In bioinformatics with first class, Nul van Billion. Bachelor of Medical Science honors in biological anthropology with first class, Christy Potter. Kimberly Watchup Fenning. In clinical pharmacology, first class, Kate Da Silva. First class, Shanae Justine Dunn. Makalanoto Keletso Maipa. Nkateko Sibabalwe Mvumbi. In forensic genetics, Zandile Boy. Manini Francina Rangaga. In human genetics, Smangele Benedicta Malima. Good. Jade Kelly McCreel. Thandiswa Mkhonto. With first class honors, Daniela Christina Munro. In human genetics with first class, Kilona Nata. Tiani Nonyane. Bachelor of Medical Science honors in infectious diseases and immunology with first class, Andrea Gillian Abrahams. With first class, Amy Graham. Lerato Shachwayo. John Iradukunda. Siabulela Freddy Jr. Magugu. Sibongiseni kwakho Luntukazi Poswayo. Vaneshli Samuels. With first class, Akiko Suzuki. In medical biochemistry, first class, Sinead Kass. With first class, Kate Tegan Davis. With first class, Monique Klingenberg. Hopelo Matlala. Good. Rufaro Hasvina Noziva Mvududu. Jamie Nikki Pillay. With first class, Kanyisa Pinda. Alia Safardin. Alia Safardin. Bradley Christopher Thompson. With first class, Tegan Lee van Beek. For the degree of Bachelor of Medical Sciences honors in medical cell biology, with first class, Nabila Kuvadia. With first class, Saif Feroz Khan. Malese Elaine Manche. Sepekane Samuel Mohabi. With first class, Olivia Louise Wimberley. In physiology, first class, Hemin John Lee. With first class Iran Frank Shora. With first class Felicia Tulisile Siboza. Bachelor of Medical Science Honors in Radiobiology, Garth Thomas Baker. In Structural Biology, First Class, Mbuso Siabonga Mantanya. For the degree of Bachelor of Medical Science Honors in Biokinetics, Brenda Nonzaliseko Bangisi. Tolfik Behadin. With first class, Michael James Bridger. Zunani Anna Mashele. With first class, Melanie Kim Saywood. Kaylee Helen Skippers. With first class, Zoe Lee Woodman. For the degree of Bachelor of Medical Science Honors in Dietetics, Junaid Gonzalez Brodel. Talia Jamie Harris. Kinza Hussein. Alison Diane Hutton. Sonia Malshik. Tamsin Matheson. With first class, Tony McCann. Tana Michelle. Caitlin Marion Malon. Ndokozo Wendy Ngubane. Baceliwe, Baketsile, Nsibande. Michaela Francis Pelzer. For the degree of Bachelor of Medical Science Honors in Exercise Science, Nur Amino. With first class, Ben Ross Philpott. Danielle Louisa Prince. Dina Vieren. For the degree of Master of Medicine in Anesthesia, Sarvat Hamid Ikram. In Anatomical Pathology with distinction in the dissertation, Michael Johannes Otto. Master of Medicine in Medicine, Init Fiona Namale. In Neurology, with distinction in the dissertation, Helen Margot Cross. In Obstetrics and Gynecology, Welile Cynthia Mkombe. Lugano Ndovi. Master of Medicine in Virological Pathology, Annabelle Enoch. In Surgery, with distinction in the dissertation, Yanni Botter. With distinction in the dissertation, Mukuhi Nganga. For the degree of Master of Nursing in Child Nursing, Inga Brigitte Henry. With distinction, Heide Kunzmann. With distinction, Musetsi Andres Mokwatsi. Cynthia Nontantlam Dolo. With distinction, Ilana Weber. For the degree of Master of Philosophy in Biomedical Forensic Science, Lorraine Nell. In Palliative Medicine, Melaku Alaza Eyasu. Cornelius Kondwani Hua. In vascular surgery, Lily Pinchu Wu. For the degree of Master of Philosophy in Emergency Medicine, in Patient Safety and Clinical Decision Making, with distinction, Baljit Kao Chima. For the degree of Master of Public Health, Namhla Yamkela Isipho Sitwebu. Sidiso Anita Hilda Tola. In epidemiology, Nicole Kramer. With distinction, Dorothy Chiwoniso Nyemba. Catherine N. Wiseman. Master of Public Health in Health Economics, Fadzai Eunice Munedzimwe. In Health Systems, Lucy Wambui Kingangi. For the degree of Master of Science in Biomedical Engineering, Safa Kahiso Naragi. For the degree of Master of Science in Exercise and Sports Physiotherapy, with distinction, Alda Grete Geldenees. For the degree of Master of Science in Medicine with Bioinformatics, Rebone Leboreng Meraba. In Genetic Counseling, Renee Gillian Goliath. With distinction in the dissertation, Claire Kathleen Ingram. Malebo Felicia Malope. Good. With distinction in the dissertation, Kalinka Popel. Nicole van der Merwe. For the degree of Master of Science in Medical Science in Medical Biochemistry, with distinction, Richard Joseph Berman. Nonkululeko Guguletu Mkwanazi. In medicine, Lauren Carey Knight. Naisa Abdul Manafe. In physiology, Hala MS Araibi. For the degree of Master of Science in Physiotherapy with distinction, Cameron Roy Riadon. For the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, it is my pleasure to present the following candidates. Firstly, in Biomedical Engineering, for a thesis which develops realistic, subject-specific computational models of healthy and diseased hearts and investigates the efficiency of biomaterial injections in the cardiac muscle and left ventricular assistance as therapies for myocardial infarction and heart failure. Kevin Lee Sack. In clinical pharmacology, for a thesis which describes the usefulness of hair analysis in monitoring both adherence to antiretroviral therapy and drug and alcohol abuse, Jenna Johnston. In clinical science and immunology, for a thesis on the impact of the maternal HIV status on the infant, gut microbiota, and its consequences on immune responses to BCG vaccination, Jerome Wendo Milimu. In human genetics, for a thesis which uses high-throughput next-generation sequencing and bioinformatics to investigate genetic factors associated with mismatch repair deficiency cancer syndromes, Lindiwe Lillian Lamola. In human genetics, for a thesis which investigates the clinical management and genetic variants associated with cardiotoxicity in cancer patients treated with anthracycline-based chemotherapy, and shows increased susceptibility in indigenous Africans, the development of a classifier and a predictive model of cardiac function, Horatia Naidu. In medical biochemistry for a thesis which shows that antihypertensive drugs possess anti-cancer activity in cancer cell model systems and demonstrates that novel combinations of antihypertensive drugs with known chemotherapies are more effective at killing cancer cells compared to single treatment. Cheryl Dunn. In medical biochemistry for a thesis which shows that inhibiting the nuclear import protein karyoferin beta-1 has anti-cancer and anti-inflammatory effects in a cervical cancer model, Tamara Stelmar. In medical virology for a thesis which aims at developing a chip plant-based expression system for the production of trimeric HIV-1 envelope antigens to be used as a prophylactic vaccine. Emmanuel Aubrey Magolin. In nursing for a thesis which shows that the implementation of a structured and collaborative clinical teaching training program at a referral hospital in Uganda has positive outcomes for nursing preceptors, clinical teaching knowledge and confidence. Safina Musine. In physiology, for a thesis that investigates ethnic and depot-specific alterations in the adipose tissue biology with obesity, with a specific focus on the role of hypoxia and extracellular matrix components and the associations with insulin resistance in black and white South African women, Liske Marinate Kotze. Vice-Chancellor, last but not least, I'd like to present a PhD in public health for a thesis which explores the exercise of decision-making capacity for central hospital managers in South Africa in relation to authority, accountability, and organizational capacity in order to develop an analytical framework which can guide policy interventions. Tamlin Esley Roman. Congratulations to all the graduates. City, ala, ala. Thank you.
First, let's give all of our graduates one more fantastic round of applause for their achievements. You've seen on parade, on display today, some of the best that UCT has to offer and what makes UCT great. We've seen graduates getting their first degrees, their postgraduate degrees in areas that are of particular need in the country and in the community to make them ready for work and for service. You've heard and seen the doctoral students and their topics, which are addressing the pressing health and management problems of the country and the world, where we as a university make a contribution to advancing the envelope of knowledge. We've heard a wonderful address from one of our distinguished alumni, focusing on perhaps the most important message to take away for our graduates, which is knowledge is important, the degrees are important for their content, but that knowledge grows and it changes and it will become out of date as well. What doesn't change is the value system that we hope you will have imbibed in your years of study at UCT, a value system that is committed to social justice, to addressing inequalities in society, and to making sure, to encouraging us as individuals to make a difference to the world and to change the world. We are enormously proud of you. And I'm sure that equally proud of you are your parents and family, and I invite you, graduates, to show your appreciation to them by standing up and making eye contact with your loved ones. Wave that scroll above your head and shout your appreciation to them in the audience. And equally important in getting you to this milestone in your academic careers are your teachers and professors represented on the platform party. And I invite you to show your appreciation to them as well. And I express my appreciation to the university is only as good as its brains trust. We are a great university because we have teachers who also do research, who advance knowledge, who have international standing and status. And the particular thanks I want to give them tonight, this afternoon, is that we've been through a tough 3 years with longer than normal academic programs, with repeat exam sessions, with various stresses that have made life more difficult, but in spite of that, they have delivered, they have ensured that our graduates reach graduation on time and today, and they have continued to produce more research than they ever have before. And for that, I want to thank them again. That's what makes this university great. And in addition to some 1,300 academics that we have in the university, we have nearly 3,500, 4,000 administrative and support staff who really keep the institution running. And you've seen some of them working today, the graduation office, the registrar's office, the disability services that supports a significant number of students with disabilities and enables them to study at UCT. The faculty offices, in this case the Health Science Faculty Office, that manages the administration of student affairs. But those of you who have been in residence will also know the cleaners and the cooks and the security people and the traffic people and the financial aid and the many other support services that ensure that student life and the student experience is a wonderful experience and that you will look back on these as the best years of your life. I ask you to show your appreciation to them as well. Most of you already have degrees, and this is your second or third degree or postgraduate diploma, but you may not have had a degree from the University of Cape Town before, and in getting your first degree or diploma from the University of Cape Town, you join a very distinguished group of alumni, approximately 170,000 living alumni all over the world, and you form the convocation of the university, an important body that provides the continuity from the past to the future, that ensures the standards are maintained, that you are ambassadors for the university. We will be judged by, our reputation will be judged by you and by what you do out there in the world. We have chapters of alumni in all over the world, and part of what you would have seen this afternoon on display is the number of students we have from other countries in Africa, which we are very proud of. We have chapters in Nairobi and in Lagos and in Kigali and in almost every major city of the continent. And we ask you to keep in touch with us and to ensure that we have your physical and email addresses so that we can keep in touch with you. And when you travel or when you go to work in a new place, you can link up with the alumni chapter in that city, and you immediately have a social network and a work network to welcome you. So please do keep in touch. We will send you electoral ballots so that you can vote for the new members of the council, the governance of the university, as well as the next chancellor. And we want to keep in touch with you and tell you what we're doing. This is your day. It's time to celebrate. Go out and change the world. Congratulations again.
Vice-Chancellor, graduates, I should also like to add my own congratulations to the graduates for their success today. And as Deputy Vice-Chancellor responsible for student affairs and transformation, including disability services, I want to say a special congratulations to the students that are differently abled for their achievement today. We at UCT take great pride in following the lives of our graduates, and in turn, we hope you will make us proud. So go out into the world and make your mark. You will be expected to practice your profession, but we also expect that when called upon to address major health issues afflicting societies here on the continent and in the rest of the world, you will rise to the occasion, that you will participate in building communities, and that, like Dr. Kisting-Cairncross, you will work to achieve the goal of ensuring social justice for all. We also hope that you will encourage those who follow you and who are ambitious like you to come to university and to contribute through your university degree to a greater good. I wish you luck and success. May you continue to soar. We've come to the end of the ceremony, and the procession will now leave the hall, and we also invite the graduates to join the procession as we leave. We will ask that you rise and that you remain standing until the procession has left the hall, and then thereafter to join us for a function in the Leslie building. The VC will now dissolve the congregation. Please rise.
And now, by the authority conferred on me, I hereby dissolve this congregation of the University of Cape Town.